Picking up where you left off is trivial because the skip button ungrays out when you start a side story that you've already started. So this is one line after where I last left off, which was, but it's thanks to you that I really started thinking about this stuff. So moving on to the next line. You really inspired me to start working on it. But well, like you said, I didn't even do anything. You were just being yourself. That's all you needed to do. Also, there's something else. Monica takes a breath. The thing is, I might have read a little bit of your manga. And I was in it. And that confused me. What? You? What the heck? Why didn't you tell me? I'm sorry, I think I just felt like kind of embarrassed to admit it. After I gave you such a hard time about it. I can't believe you, of all people, were reading manga behind my back. That is so funny. Yeah, well, I just flipped through one of them out of curiosity, but ended up reading a whole bunch of it. But I mean, one of the characters was in a literature club. What are the chances, right? He's really leaning into this. You were reading Parfait Girls. It is true, in the original Parfait Girls did have 4 girls on the cover, if I recall correctly. Wow, you have good taste. Just one volume, and I kind of just picked it out randomly. Well, you have good intuition then. You have to tell me all your favorite parts. Well, I think it was some kind of weird fate, because the character isn't just in a literature club, she also plays piano. Yeah, Parfait Girls is some sort of double entendre. It's just weird because I've always wanted to learn piano. She was like the perfect person that I always wish I was if I just did what I wanted instead of always second-guessing myself. Monica walks over to the piano and sits down. Now, I might get into some trouble with copyright, but I don't know what's going to happen, so we'll just see. I always felt like I should only share the absolute best parts of myself, the parts that will impress people or make them like me more. I read that with the wrong inflection, but whatever. But after you joined the club, I really realized how self-destructive that mentality is. We share things because we want to express ourselves. Sharing experiences allows us to share emotions. And I just felt like I wanted to show you this, because if it wasn't for you, I never would have started playing. Hey, I think the credit for that one goes to Parfait Girls. Not me. I thought that was Monica's line. Hey, I think that credit for that one goes to Parfait Girls, not me. No. Well, maybe it's true that Parfait Girls put the thought into my head. But it was still you who inspired me to keep practicing every day. Every day? Well, there's the first words. Because, you just made me feel like I want to do something, I should just do it. I left the if out. Why? I don't know. I mean, I still haven't been practicing for very long. And I'm really not any good at it yet. Like, at all. But I wrote a song for the club. And I worked really, really hard on it. It doesn't have any words or anything. But, well, yeah. So she wrote the background music. Okay, I'll have to remember to take that to consideration when I edit that audio. Not sure. I may try to investigate what's written here on this whiteboard on the, or it's called a blackboard, but it's green on the right, and see if that seemingly melodic line has any relation to the background music of this part. Just eyeballing it doesn't appear to at all. Anyway, that's all.
That was so good.
It was?
Yeah, are you kidding? You're already a pro.
Well, this is the game just complimenting itself. Not even close.
Does the song have a name? You said it was about the club, so...
Yeah. It's called My Song, Your Note. Because everyone brings something so unique to the club. Or maybe we could say that's the game writer complimenting the musician who composed the background music. It's completely different from how I first imagined it, I think. But I was like such a selfish perfectionist. It shouldn't be about me, it should be about everyone. And it's all you who helped shape the club into what it is. I would never change that.
Well, I think that's really thoughtful. It's kind of flattering. I kind of feel like I don't deserve this much validation. I wasn't exactly very patient either when I first joined the club. It makes me feel like I should probably apologize too. I think I was just really fed up with a lot of things and got frustrated about not getting my way in the club. So, yeah, I really didn't mean to take it out on you. I was being really immature. If you get my stubborn butt to apologize, I guess you're doing something right.
It's fine. I'm past it too. I think we're already even. But it's really sweet that you were thinking about it. It takes a lot of maturity to reflect on that kind of thing.
Well, I wonder who I got it from. Oh, never mind. Well, anyway,
It's like Monica just soaks that right up.
Well, anyway, we're even as long as you let me keep my manga in the club room. You did admit that it's a form of literature. You totally can't take that back now.
You got me. The closet's all yours.
I'll tell you what. I'll bring in a little something for the club tomorrow. I want to do something nice in return.
What kind of little something? Well, this is getting taken care of too.
Oh, you'll see. But I don't think you'll be disappointed.
The next club meeting ends up being a particularly tasty one. Just FYI, I don't like cupcakes. I mean, I'll eat them if they're there, but I prefer something else. Okay. That's done. So let's see if that song showed up in here. It did. And it's by Nikki Kaler, which I believe did all of the plus background music. Yeah, okay. All of the composition credit for all of the background tracks for the original game is Don Salvato. But all the plus tracks, it's Nikki Kaler. So, a new picture did appear after part 1 of the third side story. I don't know which one was new. Well, it should be still labeled as new because I haven't looked at it yet. So, Finish the side story respect number 2. It's just side by side of the various chibis. And then this also comes from finishing the side story respect 2. Okay. Grading a draft. Grading, I mean revising a draft, not actually assigning a grade. And then, okay, art asset from respect. There's multiple variations of this with multiple different mouth poses for Monaco. This is the only one that appears in the gallery. Still have 5 more of these CGs with only 3 more side stories. Okay, new background for the super high school level pianist lab. And it should be it. Check the mail. I should look and see if these names are actually listed as the staff for Team Salvato, because Team Salvato's website just lists all the staff. Paul Miner, again, to the Untitled Mail Group. So I guess it goes to everybody who's in the Untitled Mail Group. As a reminder to help guide our data collection, any analysis performed should be focused on answering some of these main questions. How does granting elevated access to the VM, I presume V stands for virtual. I don't know what M stands for. But anyway, it's the artificial intelligence from a sci-fi standpoint, not from a practical standpoint. Affects a person's emotional state. How does granting elevated access to the VM affect a person's values and goals? How does someone effectively navigate and experiment with their ability to change the contents of their VM? We already know the answer to these questions because we've played DDLC. At least I have. How is elevated access being weaponized? Now we're getting into some lore stuff. In order for something to be weaponized, there has to be somebody to use the weapon on. At least hypothetically. Right? If there could be nobody that the weapon could be used on, it's not a weapon. But who would be the victim of the use of that weapon? The player just has fun playing the game. The other characters, maybe they're just VMs though. So, maybe it's virtual machine. Maybe that's what VM stands for. Not usually the way you use virtual machine refers to dividing a computer's resources amongst several users. For example, someone can server-side shell, they could secure host login, whatever you want to call it, into my computer, and then have a virtual desktop and run programs from that virtual desktop that utilize some of the cores in my CPU, where someone else can utilize the other cores and so on. It's not usually used to describe a character in a story or a simulated character. Usually use like an AI term, like an AI or something like that. What actions and values most contribute to the destruction of the universe? Jealousy and selfishness. Most importantly, how might your observations apply to our own universe? Well, I don't know if I necessarily care to know what your commentary is on that. Our own universe does not have a player character in it. Bonus, how can we present this to upper management as an operation that benefits the company? Unrelated note, Whoever changed the color scheme of the desktop to pink, can you please change it back? It's unprofessional and it runs the risk of drawing eyes. Is Dan Salval trying to make some sort of morals out of DDLC? Trying to make a theme out of it? Okay. It's like if there wasn't a theme in the first place. But I say make a theme out of it because if you ask me to recite what the theme of DDLC is, I would have a hard time coming up with it. I would just say the game's purely based on shock value. That's it. It's all just about shock value. Forgot was it in this one? Oh yeah, it's about the Twitter account for Monica. Paula is apparently a very hard butt. Yeah, as we can tell. Whoever changed the color scheme to desktop to pink, could you please save it back? It's unprofessional. Yeah, he's like a... Paula is a super iron jacket kind of person. Yeah, the character of the player character only appears when you give Monica elevated permissions. If you don't, apparently it does not show up, which doesn't make any sense. Side stories are the control group where you don't give any character elevated permissions. We have 5 different universes. We have 5 different universes, 3 or 4 of them created and then destroyed by Monica, of course. It's funny because I keep wanting to speculate on which one is the real universe, but in reality they are all as real as ours anyway. Okay, that doesn't make any sense, but so you have the control. So let's try to recite these. So you have the control universe, which is the side stories. You have the original universe where you give Monica elevated permissions. That's 2. You have the universe that Monica creates that does not have Sayori in it. So that's 3. You have the universe that is Monica alone. That's 4. Then you have the universe with everybody but Monica in it. But Monica still somehow survives because she can implant herself like a virus. That's 5. So I guess they're confirming that they're confirming that those are the only 5 universes. 3 or 4 of them created or destroyed by Monica, of course. So the original, whatever to call it, the one with all the characters present, including the player character, with Monica given elevated permissions, is destroyed by Monica. The one without Sayori is also destroyed by Monica. The one with just Monica, I don't know if you could say it's necessarily destroyed by Monica. It's destroyed by the player character. The one without Monica is destroyed by Monica if and only if you do not collect all of the CGs. So I presume that they're saying that just Monica, that universe, is destroyed by Monica, even though it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And the 4th one, without Monica, is destroyed by Monica sometimes. Depends on if you collected all the CGs or not. It's my interpretation of this. Cool. And if there was something new in files, would it give me a pink circle to tell me that there's something new in files? Maybe it isn't that nice. All the characters are still there because everything's been reset. No saves. Still have this. It gives me basically it's a cheat sheet for the poems. The RPA files, you unlock those somehow. I haven't got to that point yet, I presume. Yeah, we'll get to these when I get done with all the side stories. I'll have one more episode where I dig through all of the dig through all of these files and try to find the Easter eggs hidden in there. Okay. Time for the next side story. Balance. I'm gonna have an obsessiveness story. Natsuki! While Natsuki is messing with the orientation of her manga in the closet shelves, Sayori approaches from behind and pulls her into an embrace.
What?
Hi. Hi. The Literature Club has been in full swing since Natsuki joined. Including her, the club is now comprised of 4 members. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and Monika. Each club member has received a day in the spotlight to share all their favorite kinds of literature with each other. Or you could interpret that as received a side story that highlights them, with the exception of Monika, because apparently you need 2 characters to make a side story. Natsuki was first and shared her passion for manga. Then Sayori shared her love for poetry, as well as how she goes about writing it herself. Monika, who has multiple literary interests, decides to focus her day on short stories. This just shows how little the game describes Monika. Yeah, it tells you, so you feel like you know a lot about Yuri. You feel like you know a lot about Sayori. You feel like you know a lot about Natsuki. You don't, even though Monika has so much screen time and lines, you don't feel like you know much about what Monika does when she's not in the literature club. She seems to have an infinite amount of time and does all kinds of things, but you don't really know what all of them are. You only know that one of them is piano. And finally, Yuri managed to demonstrate her obsession with fantasy with a little help and encouragement from Sayori. Monika somehow experiences 40 hours in a day and fills up all of them. After the week was spent on their presentations, Monika decided to give the club members this week to freely explore each other's literary interests. Sayori, having spent most of her time in the club so far with Yuri's fantasy books, is rather excited to begin her journey into Natsuki's manga collection. I want to read with you today. Tell me which one I should pick.
Well, that depends on what kind of stuff you like. I mean, there's like romance, drama, comedy, mystery.
I like all those things. Sarah reaches out and pulls a random book from the shelf and inspects the cover. Shouldn't this girl be wearing more clothes?
You wouldn't like that one.
In a panic, Natsuki snatches that book from Sayori's hand and then places it on the shelf in a less conspicuous location.
Okay, well, if you really have no preference, let's just start with something that's easy to get into. A lot of these don't start to get really good until like a few volumes in, and I wouldn't ask someone to make that kind of commitment unless they're already really into manga.
I could handle it. I did it with Yuri's book at least.
Well, I'm more considerate than that. Although I'm kinda impressed by your attention span if you put that much effort into her books.
No, I have the attention span of a donut. But I love my friends and I can do anything if it's for them.
Well, okay then. Let's pick you something that even donuts can read.
Have you tried giving a speech to a donut? I would say that its attention span is quite long. Infinite, in fact. I didn't say I was a donut, I just said I had the attention span of one. Insert Homer Simpson. You better run. Were you just trying to call me sweet? You're so cute.
No. How did you get to that conclusion? And don't call me that.
A donut?
Cute.
Well, how come?
I just don't like it. I don't need a reason.
Natsuki yanks a book from the shelf and closes the closet doors.
If someone asks you to stop, then you just need to stop. People need to realize that.
Good point. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you.
Nah, sorry, it wasn't you.
Natsuki shakes her head while pulling a second chair over to her desk. That means there's somebody else who used to call her cute that she really doesn't like. Like her dad.
I was talking about something else. I didn't mean to get angry all of a sudden.
Natsuki averts her gaze and mumbles.
You're like a nice person. I wasn't talking about you.
Well, this is really belabored. You need to learn how to be subtle, game. It makes it much more appealing. I still learned a valuable lesson. Sayori speaks softly as well, feeling shy after receiving the unexpected compliment.
Well, anyway, here's the book. So, just start it whenever you feel like it.
What's it about?
Well, it's like a comedy, and there's romance too, obviously.
Sayori looks at the title. It's called Love is Another World of Luck. Oh, love is another word for luck.
It's about a girl who keeps accidentally running into the same guys, and then you find out you should just read it. But you have to tell me what you think. I can already guess who you're gonna ship yourself with. It would be so funny if I'm right.
Ship? I don't get it. It should stay that way.
Never mind. Let's not worry about that yet. Just make sure you tell me what you think.
Oh, okay. I'll start then. Hey, maybe tomorrow we can do poetry too.
Yeah, I guess. But don't you want to finish this first?
Yeah, but we could do both. I mean, unless you don't like poetry, then I won't make you or anything.
No, it's just, never mind. We can worry about it tomorrow.
After the club meeting ends and Natsuki and Yuri leave, Monika strikes up a conversation with Sayori. I see you got Natsuki to share some of her manga with you. I really want to become better friends with her. She's so enthusiastic and expressive. I could just listen to her talk. She's so... I'm not sure if she meant I can't say that to her, or if I just can't say it at all. Say what? Nothing. I am a woman of respect. But Natsuki is a woman of cute. Oh, I said it. What's so bad about that? I don't know. But you know, there's one thing I'm kind of worried about. It's like gentle. No. Sometimes I'm afraid that Natsuki actually doesn't like me very much. Now that's ridiculous. How come you feel that way? Well, I mean, just little signs, like how she only says hi to me after I say hi to her first. Well, I only say hi to somebody unless they say hi to me first. That doesn't mean anything. And it feels like she only gets excited to talk to me when it's about manga and other stuff she likes. That's also kind of normal. She just seems dismissive a lot. She was like that when I brought up poetry. Yeah, but that doesn't mean she doesn't like you. She's probably just shy, you know. Actually, she's not. She's just normal. Maybe. My stupid head is just making me worry for no reason. It likes to do that. It's okay. Try not to worry so much. Everything will be great. But you can always talk to me about any concerns that you have. I'm here to help. You're the best. Sarah gives Monika a quick hug. Well, I'm gonna keep trying because I love her and I want to get closer to her. You got this. After the next club meeting starts, Sayori is the last one in, as usual. Trotting into the room, she sees Natsuki sitting alone by the closet, reading what must be manga. Without hesitation, Sayori pulls up a chair and plops herself down right next to Natsuki. But don't the chairs have desks attached? Hello there.
Hi.
What you're reading, can I read it with you? Natsuki pulls the book away from Sayori.
You just can't start in the middle. There are spoilers. Besides that, what about the one I gave you yesterday?
Sorry, I was just curious.
Well, anyway, I've been waiting forever for this volume to come out, and it just came out yesterday, so...
Oh, that's exciting. Well, I'll let you read it then. Can I sit next to you, though?
Sure.
Sayori plops herself down next to Natsuki, then pulls out a blank sheet of paper. Natsuki reads in silence, save for the periodic flutter of a page being released from beneath her thumb. From Sayori's side, only the light tapping noises of her pen meeting the paper can be heard. Time passes. Sayori's paper is filled with scribbles, and the margins are lined with stick figures. Natsuki lets out a deep sigh and closes her book. Did you finish?
No, but it's a good stopping point. My head is swimming. I need a break.
Natsuki stretches her arms.
Aren't you bored?
No, I was writing.
Oh, I saw the stick figures and thought you were just bored.
I just draw those when I'm thinking of waiting for inspiration. I made friends with them all. This one is sad because she thinks the night sky is pretty, but she can't look up at the stars in public without everyone thinking she's a weirdo. And this one has problems with his back, but the doctors can't figure out what's wrong with him.
What the heck? You're the weirdo.
Want to read the poem I'm working on?
Sure, I guess.
Sayori slides the paper over to Natsuki. As Natsuki reads through the poem, she furrows her eyebrows. She slides the paper back over to Sayori.
Don't you ever feel weird just sharing all your thoughts and feelings like that? I mean, your poems are like really emotional.
Is that bad?
Well, no, it's just an observation.
I think people can get closer to each other if they find ways of expressing their feelings.
Well...
Natsuki begins to protest, but she can't find a good way of putting her thoughts into words.
Doesn't that depend more on the kinds of friends you have? I don't know. To each their own, but I've never met anyone I'd feel comfortable sharing my poems with. Not that it's you, it's just how I am. So...
You write poems? Oops, Natsuki. You never told me that. I just thought you wrote other stuff. Yeah, that too, but you should... I mean, would you ever want to share?
Like I said, I don't do that.
But...
Can we talk about something else?
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It just makes me uncomfortable. I can't help it.
Still, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Well, let's move on to something that makes us both happy. You see, poets don't get famous until after they're dead. So, this isn't really any point in sharing your poems while you're still alive. They'll just be criticized, and it's just unpleasant. So, you just leave them around somewhere for someone to discover, like your children, after you've died, and then they'll try to publish them, and then they'll be famous. I should continue the book you gave me, since I didn't get very far yet.
Sure.
Over the next few days, Sayori begins each club meeting by approaching Natsuki with unwavering enthusiasm. It's Natsuki! Natsuki! Hi, Natsuki. At the end of the one club meeting, Monica, who has become rather invested in Sayori's friendship mission, starts an innocuous conversation with Natsuki while she packs up. It's cool that you've been finding time to spend with Sayori. She was pretty excited for the chance to read manga with you.
Yeah, she's just clingy.
I'm sure you've been enjoying the chance to share it too, right?
Yeah, mostly.
Natsuki glances over her shoulder, but doesn't reply further. What's on your mind?
Nothing. I don't talk about people behind their backs.
Oh. Natsuki falls silent, but she just fidgets instead of getting back to what she was doing, as though she wants to say more. Which, to say that, is like saying no comment. No comment is a comment, right? I don't talk about people behind their backs basically means that what I would say about them if I were to talk about them is purely negative. It's okay to share your feelings. That's different from talking about someone behind their back.
I guess. I just hate when people talk about me behind my back, so I'm better than to do it to others.
Monica shares a bright smile. You're really considerate.
Thanks, I guess, but it doesn't feel like it.
You can trust me. Well, this is the control group, so I suppose sure. Natsuki stands in silence for a moment, still fidgeting.
I just feel smothered sometimes. I'm not used to someone being like all over me right after we meet. I mean, it's fun to hang out with her, but I just have no control over the pace. I can't just meet someone and instantly become best friends with them and like share everything about myself. That's not how it works. I just want to chill out sometimes.
Oh, I didn't realize that was happening.
It's fine. Why would you have?
Because that Sayori you're talking about, of course. I know I don't feel bad about it. I know Sayori, so I should have realized. There we go. Monica navigates through her tinge of guilt, which has surfaced mainly due to her being the one who previously encouraged Sayori's behavior. Despite not knowing the situation, Monica can't help but feel a little responsible. Do you want me to talk to her about it?
No, I wouldn't like that.
Well, I could divert her into another club activity for you or something.
No way, that would be so underhanded and mean.
Sorry, I didn't think that one through.
Besides, just because I complained about it doesn't mean I'm asking for someone to solve my problems for me.
Amen. True. I'm sorry. I guess I just instinctively want to try to solve problems even if I haven't been invited to.
It's fine. I would talk to Sayori about it, but it would make things really weird between us. I just feel like it would make her just constantly be afraid that she's bothering me. I don't know how to just keep things natural.
Well, I think if you do a good job expressing all your feelings, she would totally understand. Sayori really wants to be the best she can be for other people. I think she would actually be happy that you want to improve your friendship with her.
Maybe. It just feels so dumb talking to someone about how to be friends with them. It's just weird and not cool.
Monica shrugs. It's the literature club. Then she mumbles through a stifled laugh. It's not the cool club.
Hey.
Sorry, that just tickled me for some reason. Look, I know that you're kind of in a tough spot, and it's hard for you to really express yourself. But you've really demonstrated to me that you're great at self-reflection and critical thinking, even if it doesn't feel like it to you. I think that's the most important part of being able to navigate through these things. so I believe that you'll find the right thing to do.
Well,
Natsuki instinctively starts to reject the compliment, but she can't find any excuse to do so. Thanks. Natsuki gathers her things, and she finishes her thought in a mumble.
and I'm still glad I joined the club, even if it's weird sometimes.
Monaco smiles, but Natsuki turns her back and walks away before waiting for a reply. It was an unusual way for Natsuki to express her appreciation, but Monica knew what she meant. It made Monica feel like everything really was going to be okay. That was short. Okay, apparently a new music showed up. I don't know which one it is. I thought Hug Energy was already a song. Okay. Second one. It's lunchtime. Sayori, who usually buys her lunch, is making her way to the cafeteria like any other day. The clamor and bustle of the students is drowned by Sayori's impeccable skill of zoning out. However, her imagination is momentarily interrupted by the glimpse of a familiar pink-haired girl. Hey, that's Natsuki. I never run into the other club members around the school. Natsuki! Sayori stands on her tiptoes and waves. Natsuki, who's busy walking and chatting with her friends, doesn't notice Sayori at first. Then she glances over in Sayori's direction. Sayori waves enthusiastically. Following her friends, Natsuki quickly ducks around the corner. Hey! She definitely saw me. Monika's the first to arrive to the club meeting, then Natsuki. Sayori, having glanced through the window to see Natsuki already inside, is unable to work up enough courage to enter. Natsuki's been so distant with me. I was stupid to think she ever wanted to be friends. She only got excited because she got to share her manga. But aside from that, she doesn't even like me. I should just go home today. I'm here too. Sorry, but do you plan on going inside? No! Why? I'm sulking. Oh. Well, I'm sorry for bothering you. Excuse me. No, don't leave me! Oh, I'll stay here then. I don't want to go in. I'm afraid of bothering Natsuki. My breath smells like onions. I saw her at lunch today, so I waved and I called out to her, but instead of saying hi, she just ran away from me. Really? Not bad. Hey! Sorry, I'm sorry, that was a joke. It just sounded like something stupid that I would do from anxiety. From anxiety? Well, I just don't like attention being drawn to myself. Oh. Well, that makes sense based on the person you are. But Natsuki isn't shy like that at all. I thought we were friends. No, she just has a double life, or a compartmentalized life, where she doesn't want to associate Natsuki with her other friends. But it feels like every day she's just trying to distance herself more instead of getting closer. Is this actually a typo? But it feels like every day she's just trying to distance herself more instead of get closer. No, that's correct. That's the correct way to say it. It makes me feel like she was only spending time with me during the club because I was reading manga, but she doesn't actually want to be friends with me. Well, I feel like I'm missing a lot of context here. Was she in the middle of anything when you approached her? No, she was just walking with her friends. With her friends. Yuri paused for a moment. How do I put this? Sayori, you're very fond of your friends, right? You always want to be spending time with them. Of course, I don't think there's anything more important to me. I mean, the best parts of my day are always with my friends. Besides that, I really hate being alone, so... You hate being alone? Sayori nods. We're very different people. I cherish my time alone, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I think, well, if I was trying to have alone time and it was being threatened with an interruption, then it just would not make me very happy. Yeah, but that doesn't have to do with Natsuki. She was already with her friends, not trying to be alone or anything. No, I think it's similar. Well, we're all friends in the club, but we have our own lives outside the club as well. If you think about it, making new friends isn't some casual occurrence that happens on a daily basis. A friendship is an invitation to intertwine your lives together. But the capacity at which each person is ready to do that might be different. There are friends who just like to have fun together and others who talk every day and share every detail of their lives with each other. I think when establishing a friendship, it's important to consider the comfort level of the other person. I mean, we don't really know much about Natsuki's life outside the club. It could be that she simply needs to make friends at her own pace rather than jump headfirst into a new commitment. But that means I really was bothering her? I just really wanted to be good friends with her, so I treated her like one. Was I actually hurting her? I don't know, I'm sorry. My instinct was really only based on what I understand about my own needs. And Natsuki and I are completely different, so... Why was I so selfish? Even if all that is true, then it still means I hurt her. I think I messed up. It's like... You forgot, you need to inject more local. Yuri, with you, I think I was really careful to understand your needs when I was becoming friends with you. But I wasn't careful at all with Natsuki because she already seemed really social. I just took control of everything instead of looking for the right balance. Now I hurt her and she doesn't want to talk to me. How could I let myself do this? Sayori, I think that, well, there was one time you told me something about the way I saw things in my head being different from reality. It's easy to automatically jump to the worst case scenario, but I think it's more likely that Natsuki doesn't harbor any ill feelings towards you. So I think if we were to realistically consider the situation and how it would cause someone to feel, I'm bad at this, I'm sorry. You're a lot better than me at things like confronting and reassuring people. Suddenly, Sayori gives Yuri a gentle hug. You're the best, Yuri. I'm sorry for burdening you with this. You're trying so hard for me. You're such a sweetheart. My fingers sunk down into the spacebar. It's a burden. It's not a burden. I enjoy listening to others, and my friends deserve happiness. Sayori beams. Well, I think I'm gonna give Natsuki some space. She should do what she wants, and if she does still want to be friends, then I'll learn her needs and I'll match her boundaries. And I'm sure that's what's best. I wish I didn't feel so awful and guilty. It makes me feel desperate, like I need to make it up to her by trying to make her happy. But that's not what she needs, I just have to tell myself that. It hurts, but I guess it means I still need to grow. I really want to grow as a person. If it's to be better for my friends, I want that. That's very mature of you, Sayori. I'm mature. Sayori hops up and down on her toes. So does that mean you'll be going home after all? Sayori shakes her head. I need to be here to show her that I respect her space. I'll just spin the club by myself today. It's a weird phrasing, but okay. Yuri nods in understanding. You can go in first. Okay. You're blocking the door. Oh. Sayori steps aside. By the way, before Yuri enters the club room, Sayori interjects. Yuri, that was an invitation to walk all over her, and you didn't. You said that you and Natsuki are completely different, but I don't really think that's true. I think you're actually really similar in a lot of ways. Yuri smiles and shakes her head. Sayori, that's absurd. You're very silly sometimes. They're both similar in that they both like the player character. Yuri turns and enters the club room. After a moment, Sayori follows. The club room is quiet. When Sayori walks in, Natsuki glances in her direction. Sayori smiles and gives Natsuki a quick wave before sitting down across the room. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. Sayori decides it's best to continue the manga she was reading, so she pulls it out. However, it looks like Natsuki isn't reading today. She has a sheet of paper in front of her and is tapping a pen against her desk, staring at it. Ooh, are we writing today? Monika speaks in a quiet voice, unwilling to disturb the peace of the club room. She kneels down at Natsuki's desk. Well, she didn't have to say anything.
Hey.
Natsuki pulls the sheet of paper to her and covers it with her arms. Sorry, I didn't mean to peek.
Whatever.
Well, she's already developed a reputation for peeking. I just wanted to see how everything was going.
It's fine.
Natsuki replies dismissively. She glances over at Sayori, who is focused on her manga. Monika follows Natsuki's gaze.
I think she's mad at me.
How come?
I'm busy right now. Ask me later.
Just like in the middle of the thought, Monika falls silent. Natsuki looks back down at her paper. She inches her hand away from the top margin, allowing Monika to see. It says, "To Sayori." Understanding, Monika smiles. She places a hand on Natsuki's shoulder and whispers softly, "I'm proud of you." Natsuki looks away but makes no motion to remove Monika's hand. Monika gives Natsuki's shoulder a quick squeeze before standing back up and pulling away. The end of the club meeting passes. Yuri has already departed. So has Monika after checking on Sayori and Natsuki to ensure they wouldn't stay too late. Well, they will anyway. Sayori was determined to finish her manga volume before heading out since the end was approaching. However, with Natsuki also staying late for an unknown reason, a silent tension hangs in the air. After finishing the volume, Sayori brings it to the closet to put it away. She slides it back into the shelf while Natsuki watches. Then Natsuki gets up and pulls it back out in order to return it to its proper location. Sorry, I didn't know where it was supposed to go.
It's fine.
The two fall silent again, avoiding eye contact. They both look like they're about to say something, but neither can break the silence. A moment passes. Well, I'll be on my way. See you tomorrow. Sayori turns away to hide her pained expression and walks away from the closet. And gets tackled. If there was any proof Natsuki no longer wanted to be friends, this was it. Defeated, Sayori carried herself out of the club room. Once in the hallway, Sayori takes a deep breath and hits her palms against her cheeks to clear her head a little. Let me try to make that noise. Hopefully the mic picked it up. Suddenly, Natsuki's stammering voice calls from behind. Natsuki? Startled, Sayori turns back around to face Natsuki. New CG? Natsuki fidgets and anxiously continues with a shaking voice. How am I supposed to shake this?
I have a lot of things to say.
Me too. But you go first. Natsuki bites her lip and can't stay still.
Well, first of all...
She cuts herself short, struggling to continue. Trying to force the words out, she stamps her foot and hops up and down a little.
I'm sorry for the thing I did at lunch, and I'm sorry for just being kind of mean lately. It's really hard for me to like. I mean, I'm not good with things that make me uncomfortable.
Isn't that the definition of uncomfortable?
Especially when it comes to like feelings and stuff.
Eyes point straight at the player.
So,
Face burning, Natsuki clams up again. Instead of continuing, she simply holds up a sheet of paper for Sayori to take.
okay, the best place in the world. I love my bedroom. It's full of bright colors and soft things. The sunlight shines in and makes everything sparkle. It's the best place in the world. It has all my treasures, all my books, my collections, my memories. All of my dreams were born in this room. It's the best place in the world. It has all of my secrets, all of my failures, my fears, my feelings. Sometimes it feels so fragile that the door will break at the slightest touch. But it's still the best place in the world. But when someone knocks, I get scared. I brace my arms against the loose hinges. Please, don't break. Don't come in. I'm not ready. It's my best place in the world. The knocking won't stop. I block the door with furniture, and I peek through the keyhole and I panic. I'm trapped in the best place in the world. I'm not ready to share my favorite place. I need to clean my secrets and make my bed to hide my nightmares. I need to touch them, to put them away, to see them again. I have so much to do and I'm scared I'm not ready. But it's still my favorite place. I still want to share it, however long it takes if you wait patiently. I'll eventually open the door, and I'll show you the best place in the world.
It's a poem. But I thought...
Well, I sucked it up so that I could work things out with you. So just be happy about it. Please.
Sayori smiles deeply from the bottom of her heart. I'm happier than I could express. I feel so awful, but I'm so happy that you would do this for me. I actually realized before the club meeting today that I made a mistake. I got so caught up in the chance to get closer to you that I forgot to think about what you wanted. And that would probably have different ways we like to make friends.
About like the friendship stuff. I mean, it's okay. I understand, so you don't have to force yourself to talk about it. Your poem.
Switch to Sayori. Your poem did a good job, so don't force yourself if you're not ready yet, okay? Natsuki nods. You don't have to feel like you did anything wrong. It was my fault, and I'm sorry. I wasn't mad at you today, or anything like that. I actually felt really guilty and wanted to give you space. I was thinking it's silly that I just approached you all the time and that I should just let you approach me when you want to. Just whatever makes you comfortable, I'll respect that from now on. Friendship should always start with those things. With the right balance. Natsuki nods again. One thing about
that. Well, I don't want to have to approach you all the time either. I just want it to be balanced, like you said.
Sayori nods. I understand. We'll make sure of that together then.
Well, anyway.
Now that the two of them have found common ground, Natsuki finds it easier to speak more freely again, which makes the CG no longer necessary, apparently.
I'm not going to be like sharing my poems all the time now or anything like that. But
Well, you will be.
I guess it wouldn't hurt to do once in a while. Only the best ones. So you better like them, because otherwise I might change my mind.
I like anything you do, Natsuki.
I was just saying.
More importantly, I have to tell you about my new boyfriend. Why? Why is that any of your business?
Oh, from the manga.
Okay, next segment.
Wait, I need to guess who it is.
You definitely won't be able to guess. Two walk down the hallway together.
Oh my, we have so much to talk about. Darn. I should have told you to save the last 2 chapters so I could see your reaction to the big reveal.
Oh, you want to enjoy it with me. That's so cute.
Oh, shush.
Okay, no new mail. Unfortunately. So the only thing is the poem, I guess. So that filled in that blank space that haunted me. Oh, and then so that is the last of Natsuki's poems, which unlocks the all of Natsuki's poems poem. Okay.
I named my pen. The expression express. My feelings abroad with a ticket to you. No room for stammers, no lies, no extra stops, no compromise. Station screaming by attendants saying hi. 1 ticket to you, please and thank you. Take a headphone and doze. No bumps in the rails, just thumps in my heart and loops in my letters and clouds in the sky and dreams in your eyes. Hey, wake up. The train has arrived. Expression express. Destination you. Choo choo.
Okay. That means there's no more poems in the side stories, so the 4th and the 5th don't have any poems in them. That's a bit disappointing, given that 4th was somewhat unnecessary. Then Natsuki picture. So we only have 1 left. Oh, this is new too. There's a new CG. 4 more CGs for the remaining 2 side stories. One more background, except we know what it is. It's going to be the stairwell in the school. But it hasn't appeared. It's only appeared in the opening animation to the first side story. It has not yet appeared in the library. These I may never get because these are some very specific actions you'd have to take. Okay. Those kind of things are also from very specific actions. That's very generic. Well, I guess that's it. Oh, one more thing. I noticed that you can change the language of this. Well, first Spanish from Spain, right? Español from España. Español from Latino America. Francés or Francais. Deutsch. Italiano. I don't know how to pronounce that. I believe this is Greek. Hangul. This is actually a bit hard to tell because it's written in hand characters, so it could be Japanese or Chinese. But this means, I believe, day. This means book. This is in between or middle. So one of these is Japanese and one of these is Chinese. That's probably the Chinese, honestly. Okay. Unless it's Vietnamese or something thrown in there. Most importantly, though, this is if you could really translate all the text to Hangul, or I guess you would pronounce this Hanguka, then this can turn into a very large bank of Hangul text, which for me would be very useful. You could probably guess why. That's it.